I'm now being told that I should accept a new contract which will pay me less than I started on 30 years ago. We've been quoted £24,000 per annum, but this doesn't include the potential of up to 6 weeks stand-down on zero pay, part of a seasonal caveat which has been added. I cannot put into words my utter disgust at an employer that would take advantage of a global pandemic to decimate its workforce. Just think what we could have achieved if they'd decided to work with us instead of against us. What do you say to that employee? But why are British Airways doing it? Why aren't Iberia doing it? Why aren't Aer Lingus doing it? Why aren't Vueling doing it? Your other member airlines in IAG are not trying to impose these kind of salary cuts and changing conditions on their employees, are they? Are you telling me that Iberia and Aer Lingus are proposing to cut the salaries of their staff or to fire and rehire in a similar way to British Airways? Because they're not, are they? You keep resorting to this legal thing. Just because the law is there, that does not mean to say that you have to do it in this way. I mean, Michael O'Leary, perish the thought that you should take a lesson from Michael O'Leary, but he's offering a return to current pay levels for his staff once business returns to normal. He's taken a 70% pay cut. He's tiered down the pay cuts to his entire workforce, to cabin crew who earn the least, to a 10% pay cut. That's temporary until the company starts making profits again. Why can't you take a leaf out of his book? Were you consulted by BA Chief Executive Alex Cruz about this approach? Because you know that it's alienated a huge percentage of your staff. I mean, I would say, judging from the feedback I've had, sort of probably over 90%. Do you support this aggressive approach which he's taking? Unions will look at examples here. They will look at what you've done with BALPA, where they did enter talks with you. And once those talks seemed to be going okay, you issued them with a different Section 188 letter, which increased the number of redundancies by another 125, and they were basically told, if you don't agree with these terms, we will impose fire and rehire on you. I mean, what kind of industrial relations strategy is that?
Changes.
But they've done what you say Unite and GMB should do, and that you're effectively punishing them for it. So why would Unite and GMB engage with you when effectively you're doing something which any other form of life would be regarded as bullying? I don't know of any other company in your sector, or indeed the rest of the economy, that is behaving in this way. But let's leave that one there. Now, a lot of your employees are wondering why you're doing this interview. Alex Cruz is the chief executive of BA, yet he's been the Scarlet Pimpernel of this dispute. So they seek him here, they seek him there. You've made a great play of the fact that BA is a separate entity, yet you're doing all the legwork here. Why doesn't Mr. Cruz communicate with his staff, either via the media or indeed, as any normal chief executive would do, through his union representatives? A lot of people are saying that you're seeking a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You're using the COVID-19 crisis to do what you were wanting to do or have wanted to do for some time. Now, BA has made in excess of £1 billion of profits in each of the last 2 years. Is that because of your staff or despite them? Because a lot of people are feeling, well, they made a huge profit last year. We didn't get any bonus. The management got huge bonuses. Alex Cruz got an extra £530,000 on his salary. And yet this is the way we're being treated. You can understand why the staff are very, very unhappy with you, can't you? So all of the press reports that his salary went up to 1.3 million, they were wrong in September last year, were they? No. Let's clear this up. Let's clear this up, because, I mean, you're saying I've said something wrong, and I actually have not.
No, I'm not saying you've said something wrong.
Monday the 9th of September, headline, well, BA chief executive slammed for £537,000 pay rise before pilot strike. That was from the September the 9th, 2019, in the Metro newspaper. I mean, either that's true or it isn't. But the balance sheet of British Airways is actually in very rude health, with the cash reserves. Hugh Merriman. I don't know if you've seen this letter that Hugh Merriman, the chairman of the Transport Select Committee, has sent to MPs this evening. Yeah, but he's saying that you've got cash reserves and deposits at 2.6 billion, shareholder equity of 5.8 billion. You're in rude health, aren't you? So why would you do this to your staff? You're in no different position than any other airline, are you? Really?
Some have managed,
but they're trying to work it out in cooperation with their employees rather than in an adversarial way. Here's a constructive suggestion, and I mean, I've in previous lives I've been involved in industrial negotiations, so I do know a little bit about it. Here's a constructive suggestion. Why don't you say to your employees and the unions, okay, we understand the strength of feeling here. We know a lot of you have been offended by what we've done. We've only obeyed the law, which is what you've consistently said in this interview and others. But I will guarantee you that on the 15th of June, we're not going to do the fire and hire. That would take a lot of heat out of this. Could you not think about saying that? Just on that point, and I know we've gone on far longer than either I or you had intended to, but I hope I can crave your indulgence for two quick final questions. Just on that point about people being upset, what facilities have you put in place to support your workers who are feeling incredibly anxious? There have been reports of a couple of suicides already among cabin crew. Do you have mental health support available for people who are really, really worried about what's going to happen to them? And final question. Are you going to issue redundancy notices to your staff on the 15th of June? I think your staff need to know this, and I think this almost is a yes or no question, isn't it?